له كل خير زدنا بالخير رقم افتقاري ربي مخفي العيوب إلى ألوى كل عيب كاشفي ملي الذنوب للمريدين رزقا وحبي لا تتركني وأنت رجائي كل كيد العدا فاحفظني وشتت وبدد جميع العادي
ألا لا إله إلا الله ربنا ألا لا إله إلا الله حسبنا
فشتت وبدد جميع العادي أجب لي إلهي فهذا الدعاء رجاء لكشف الكروب صلاتي وأني مع سلامي على خير خالقك يا أزل الجلال
ألا لا إله إلا الله ربنا ألا لا إله إلا الله حسبنا
لفقدك تولى بالعلوم تحزن وجادوا بدمعي لا يبيد غزير لو يختلط مع المدام بالدماء لكان قليلا فيك شيء ولا بدون
لكان قليلا فيك شيء ولا بدون
لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله
معك بابا
آمين
وباك ألفا
آمين
معك بابا
آمين
وباك ألفا
آمين
بابا أشير على بيدون باك بابا
آمين لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله
ففهمناها سليمان وكلا آتينا حكما وعلما وسخرنا مع داود الجبال يسبحنا والطير وكنا فاعلين
آمين
يا حي يا قيوم يا رب موسى وهارون ونوح وإبراهيم وعيسى ومحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم أكرمنا بجودة الحفظ وسرعة الفهم وارزقنا الحكمة وثبات الزين والأكل والعلم بحق محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم يا رب العالمين
آمين
وهدوا إلى طيب من القول وهدوا إلى صراط الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
يا نساء النبي من يأتي منكن بفاحشة مبينة يضاعف لها العذاب ضعفين وكان ذلك على الله يسيرا.
يا نساء النبي من يأتي منكن بفاحشة مبينة يضاعف لها العذاب ضعفين وكان ذلك على الله يسيرا.
ومن يقنت منكن لله ورسوله وتعمل صالحا نؤتيها أجرها مرتين وأعتدنا لها رزقا كريما.
وما يقنط منكن لله ورسوله وتعمل صالحا نؤتيها أجرها مرتين وأعتدنا لها رزقا كريما.
يا نساء النبي لستن كأحد من النساء إن اتقيتن فلا تخدعن بالقول فيطمع الذي في قلبه مرض وقلنا قولا معروفا.
يا نساء النبي لستن كأحد من النساء إن اتقيتن فلا تخدعن بالقول فيطمع الذي في قلبه مرض وقلنا قولا معروفا.
وقرنا في بيوتكن ولا تبرجن تبرج الجاهلية الأولى وأقمنا الصلاة وآتينا الزكاة وآتينا الله ورسوله إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم رجز أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا.
وقرنا في بيوتكن ولا تبرجن تبرج الجاهلية الأولى وأقمنا الصلاة وآتينا الزكاة وآتينا الله ورسوله إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجز أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا.
واذكرن ما يتلى في بيوتكن من آيات الله والحكمة إن الله كان لطيفا خبيرا.
واذكرن ما يتلى في بيوتكن من آيات الله والحكمة إن الله
كان لطيفا خبيرا.
إن الله كان لطيفا خبيرا. الحمد لله رب السماوات والأرض خالق كل شيء ورازقه والذي أمات وأحيا والذي يعطي ويمنع ويضحك ويبكي. نحمده سبحانه وتعالى على استمرار رحمته ورضوانه علينا ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن ينور قلوبنا بنور الإلهي. نسأله ذلك بفضل والكرم هذا الشهر وكرم بالفضل نسأل ذلك بفضل وكرم هذا الشهر المبارك الذي فيه أنزل الله سبحانه وتعالى القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. ونسأله ذلك بذات رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يجعلنا من المغفورين له
آمين.
وأن يجعلنا من عتكاء من النار
آمين.
وأن يجعلنا من الذين يتقبل أعمالهم في هذا الشهر
آمين
بجاه رسوله
صلى الله عليه وسلم. آمين.
الحمد لله إن شاء الله سنستأنف ما وقفنا عليه بأمس. قرأنا الآية أو الآيات لكن وقفنا على الآية التي واجه الله سبحانه وتعالى بها نساء النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم هن المثل الأعلى لنساء المؤمنين. وفي عادة الله سبحانه وتعالى إذا أراد أن يأمر نساء المؤمنين بأمل خير أو يريد أن ينهاهن عن أي عمل الذي من إمكانياته أن يقضي عملهن كان يوجه أولا بهذا الأمر النساء الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم على لسان زوجهن. وهذا أيضا إشارة أن الآية التي قرأنا وشرعناها بأمس حيث قال الله سبحانه وتعالى عندما جاء المؤمنات ليبين الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم من الأمور التي ألقى عليهن هو أن يعطينه في أمر بالمعروف، ومن هذا هو أن يعطينه فيما أمر به أهله إن لم يكن أمرا مخصوصا لهن. إن كان أمرا عموما هذا الأمر سيصل إلى النساء المؤمنين، لكنه يبدأ من بيت الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. وهذا أيضا مصداق المثل الشهير بيننا حيث يقال العرب واليربع أن فاقد الشيء لا يعطيه، وللقائد والقائد والسادات أن يبدأ الخير من بيوتهم قبل أن يأمروا يعني اتباعهم ونساءهم باتباع هذا الأمر. لابد أن يكونوا مثل الآلة كما جاء الله سبحانه وتعالى لنا رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم أسوة حسنة. كذلك جاء الله سبحانه وتعالى كل سيد وكل شيخ وكل إمام أسوة حسنة لجماعته. إذا أراد أن يأمر خارج بيته، إذا أراد أن يأمر اتباعه بأي عمل من الأعمال الخيرات أو يريد أن يمنعهن عن أي عمل قبيح لابد أن يبدأ من بيته. وهذا هو المعنى الأول لهذه الآية الموجهة إلى صلى الله عليه وسلم. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يفهمنا كلامه. آمين. طيب. We thank Allah Azza wa Jalla, the Lord of the world and everything in it. It is unusual for us to meet on Mondays like this, when of course we only meet on Friday through Sunday. But what is not unusual for Allah is to continue to bless us. Blessing for Allah is constant, is natural. For us to serve Him, when we do more than we think we're doing, it becomes a big deal. And instantly we ask Him to bless us based on that we've just done. When of course Allah has not ceased to bless us anyway. And the biggest of all blessing is given us is the fact that He makes us Muslims. Alhamdulillah. We always say Islam, it's a gift from Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah granted it to whoever He wills. So that Allah will count us among those that He continues to bless, even when we are sometimes unconscious of that blessing. Allah does not, because of that, take it away from us. And an indication of that is the fact that He brought us back to this place today in good health, having been part of yesterday, knowing fully well that some of us are not used to working on Monday and having to come from work and come over here and listen to tafsir. So that Allah will grant this opportunity to all of us. We should see it as a divine blessing from Allah Azza wa Jalla, because you ask yourself, if you're not here in your home, what are you going to be doing anyway? You're probably laying in bed looking at the clock, just praying for Ramadan. What is it called? Iftar to roll by and you can break your fasts. Well, inshallah, some had said even, when someone who is fasting is sleeping, is all going to be rewarded. But I can't say of you, but personally, when you're home in an evening like this and you have nothing planned and you've worked all day and your mind is telling you that you're tired and you're about to lay down, and something else will tell you to pick up your phone, even though your mind is telling you that you're tired, right? And you say pick up your phone, and you pick up your phone, you look at one clip, the next one, and the third one, and the fourth one, and before you know it, you forget that what you were trying to do was to sleep, right? This is a person who was claiming that he doesn't have the time to finish his wazifa, is lazim, is trying to memorize one chapter of the Quran this month, is not been able to do it, but now he lay down under the pretext that he's tired, he wants to rest, and he picks up his phone and he keeps flipping up and down, and the next thing he hears Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, and he asks himself the question, have you gained any reward for that? So we should see this as an opportunity for us to amass the reward of Allah Azza wa Jalla. In the month that when we do one thing, any act of goodness, Allah will pay back in multiple fold. So inshallah, those that are coming from work and the mind is telling them that you're tired and you're still able to make it here, we thank Allah for you. Alhamdulillah. And those that are still home and going to be making their ways here, may Allah Azza wa Jalla bring them here safely. And our child who is responsible for the reason why we are gathered here today, may Allah Azza wa Jalla bless him for us. Inshallah. Tafaddal.
يا نساء النبي ما يأتي منكن بفاحشة مبينة
من يأتي منكن بفاحشة مبينة الله إن الله في كل أمره ينصف إن الله في كل أمره يعمل بالعدل ويقضي بالعدل إنه حرم الظلم على نفسه وجعله محرما بيننا وأمرنا ألا يظلم بعضنا بعضا وإن شئت ألا يتظالم بعضنا بعضا. Allah is the Lord of justice. I want you to pay very close attention to these verses. Of course, we're talking, I think this series number 9, on our topic for the month of Ramadan, women and humanity. And of course, like we said yesterday, humanity, Islam is just an aspect, right? You have to treat the issue holistically. Then you see, if in fact, all the rules that apply to women that we call Islamic laws, that some deem to be very harsh on women and some deem some of them as not fair to women, we want to establish, looking at all these pictures, like what was in operation before Muhammad, before Islam, right? Then, when Muhammad came, what was the situation? And what is the situation today? And if you've been following this all this while, we've been able to establish up until series 8 that Islam, the time of Muhammad been the only time when women did not only see, hope as humans, but also that was the only time that their dignity was held at the very, at the highest esteem. If you want to argue the fact that, well, it's today, well, it's not today. You can tell. If you want to sell any silly thing, all you've got to do is just to portray a woman. As long as she's naked, someone is going to buy it. And women lose all their confidence and self-worth. And they've got to literally go naked before they can show that they're worthy. Not knowing that men are not, I don't think there is any man, unless that man is, is living with a very sick mind, would want to choose a woman who is deemed, who has lost all her values. I was talking to the kids in class the other day, and I gave them, and I was holding 2 candies in my hand, and one of the candy, I threw it on the floor, and I unwrapped it. The kids were in this class, and I unwrapped that candy, and I threw it on the floor, and I mashed it. In the senior class, right? And I threw the other candy, and I threw it down. That one was still kept wrapped, and I told them to pick one. All of them rushed towards the one that was wrapped. Because they were asking questions about why they should wear the hijab and stuff like that. And what about when it's hot and stuff? Of course, if it's too hot and it's unbearable, that's another thing, right? But you have to understand these kids when you're around them. The questions, sometimes you have to be very careful. So they all rushed towards the one that is wrapped, that was well wrapped and clean. I said, why do you pick that one? They said, well, and the one that was still kept wrapped, that you guys rushed for, is the chest one. the one who still retains her self-value. So, and I was telling them, if any man comes to you and says he wants to be with you, any boy, if he's not ready to put a ring on it, well, I just want to unwrap you like that candy and throw you on the floor and march on you. That's what it is. And that was able to put an end to some of the, and of course, you know, they will always have follow-up questions, right? But that was the import of what I was trying to get to make them understand, because what's been put in their mind, and of course they go to school with all these other people that are not Muslims anyway, what has been put in their mind is that the reason why Islam said they should wear hijab is because Islam wants to contain their independence and freedom as free American women. But I want you back only little Martin second. Allah wa fẹ́ kọ́ ànábì náà.
Allah fẹ́ kọ́ ànábì náà
sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ilé yẹn máa ti kẹ́sàn-án ròde.
Ya nisa an-nabiyyi man ya'ti minkunna bi fahishatin mubayyinatin.
So, Abdulrazak, we're still going to discuss the issue of are there, to show you how much Allah dignifies women. We'll discuss the issue of are there prophets or apostles, as the case may be, al-anbiya, were there anbiya among the women? And the way Allah started this verse, you would think it was talking directly to the wives of the prophet, but again it was talking to them on the tongue of their husband. But that reminds me, because we're going to discuss the issue of can we find among women those that Allah actually raised as prophets, which of course we will discuss. Mulana Sheikh Ibrahim had a different opinion on that, and Mulana Sheikh Adam Abdullah Ilori, he had a different opinion on that as well. Mulana Sheikh Ibrahim was looking at it from one point of view. Sheikh Adam Abdullah Ilori was looking at it from another point of view. So they both authored books on it. Mulana Sheikh Ibrahim in his book Kashful Ibas, he discussed it. Mulana Sheikh Adam Abdullah, he discussed it in his book Falsafatul Nubuwah wal Anbiya. And inshallah we'll get there. Alright? Allah says, oh ye wives of the Prophet.
Man yati minkunna bi fahishatin mubayyinatin.
If any one of you causes any obvious evil, you're not accused. Again, Allah in this very verse establishes justice. Oh God. Allah qualifies the evil as obvious, unarguably. You are responsible for fomenting an obvious evil, not that you are, you are accused and it's not true, but it can be established. فَائِشَةٍ مُبَيِّنَةٍ لَيْسَتْ بِفَائِشَةٍ فَحَسْبٍ لا فَائِشَةٍ مُبَيِّنَةٍ. If you are accused of obvious evil, oh boy,
يضاعف لها العذاب الضعفين.
Whoever among you comes, or rather is responsible for any obvious evil, such person's punishment will be doubled. When you say will be doubled, that indicates comparison. Do you understand? In comparison to who? To any other woman who is not a wife of the prophets. Oh,
وَكَانَ ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ يَسِيرًا.
This is in the case of you being responsible for any evil, if you, as a wife of the principal, are responsible for causing any evil, obvious evil is being traced to you, no doubt your punishment will be doubled. So,
وَمَا يَقْنُتْ مِنْكُنَّ لِلَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ.
any one of you who submits to Allah and His Prophet, your husband, do not take it for granted. That is why some women, those that are married to the sheikhs and the imams, they do not want to treat their wives, their husbands, rather the way the students treat their husband. So you're not my sheikh, you're the sheikh. I'm not your student. You're the student. No, he's your sheikh. He's your teacher. Listen, when you guys get to the bedroom, you can do whatever you want to do. But you're not going to be drunk enough to come to the masjid and address your husband in front of everyone else and say, hey, oh, you're my lenu. Bebanja lies or delay.
Bebanja lies or delay.
November,
Agbare to Weba.
Iṣẹ́ ọkọ rẹ kọ́ ló fẹ́ bàjẹ́ mọ́ iṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run ló fẹ́ bàjẹ́ òun.
Iṣẹ́ ọkọ rẹ kọ́ ló fẹ́ bàjẹ́ o, iṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run gbé lọ́kọ rẹ lọ́wọ́ ló fẹ́ dojú ẹ̀ bolẹ̀ o.
Ọ̀gbọ́n ọkọ rẹ ni wọ́n rí. Ẹ̀mí tó sodo sára ọkọ rẹ tọ́lọ́run ti deploy sára rẹ àwọn ló ń bá wíwùn ó jẹ́ ya rẹ.
Ó jẹ́ ya rẹ o.
Iṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run ló fẹ́ dojúkọ ẹ̀. Èyí gbọ́dọ̀ dojúkọ kó you do not face you do not intend to destroy such work and you're not going to be destroyed. Period. That Allah could have just said, وَمَنْ يَقْنُتْ لِلَّهِ مِنْ كُنَّ. And if anyone among you follows Allah without saying the prophets, he's saying not just Allah, but the prophet. And he could have called the prophet by the name because he knows his name anyway. And he was aware that he's their husband. But he called him by his title. You don't go to your husband's job and he's a medical doctor and you call him by his name, you're stupid. You might think it's no big deal. No, you've just reduced him to nothing in front of everyone else. You have a problem with your husband at home, you guys fight in the house. You don't bring it to his work. If you think he's the only one you're dealing with, no, he's not the only one. Allah is teaching not just dignity here, but also etiquette. You come to your husband's job, he's a CEO at his job, you respect him just like every other staff will respect him there. He's a medical doctor at the hospital, you respect him just like you would. He's a lawyer at his chamber, you go over there, you respect him the way any other staff will respect him. You don't come in and say, where is Ade? Why not let him walk with me? Àfáà yín dà wọ́n wá mọ́sálásí ọ̀gbọ́ oníyàwó ìmáàmù ó ní àfáà yín dà ọmọ àdìtà làfáà tiẹ̀ ṣé òun yín dà ó wá rò pé òun lòún yẹ̀yẹ́ mo ń tú kò ní láwọn mẹ́líkà mílíkì fún àfáà yìí tó wá fẹ́ ṣe tẹ́rìbíà ní àwọn àyà kan tí wọ́n fún ẹ pé kó lọ wá ọlọ́run wá ń bẹ̀ ó ní kúlì láwọn mẹ́líkà mílíkì and say Allah, you are the Lord of all sovereignty. Do you think, and ask them this question, why do you think your children are conscious of the fact that, oh, daddy is coming, I have to behave, or mom is coming, I have to behave? What is it in you that they're scared of? What is it in your boss at work that you're scared of? What is it in the police that stop you that you're scared of? What is it in us sitting here that you respect? Because we're now one soul no more. Do you understand? Anyone at any level of authority that 1, 2, 3 persons respects, that person is now singular no more. That is why it is easy for a president to snap his finger and tell people to go and die, and he's still in the White House. Oh, Sintos. He's still sitting in the Oval Office, and he can say, go and die. And people will not even think twice, and they will get up. You think there's one controlling them? When Trump was in office, and they showed, there was something going on then, right? And people were stationed all over the world, and they showed he had a telecast with one of the army bases, and they were telling him, hey, your Mr. President, we're ready to deploy whenever you want us to. And my mother said, you are ready to deploy. Do you know what that means? We're ready to go and die for you. That's what they're saying. Can anyone on the street just tell them to go and die and they'll go die? What makes that person different? There are souls now deployed in him. That's what's called mulk. And listen, if you do not know how Allah operates and you stand against the sovereignty of Allah that He has deployed in anyone, you are not fighting that person, you're fighting Allah. That is why when you fight your husband at home, that Allah has made the Qawam of the house, you are not at rest because you are fighting an authority. That is why Allah will address them. That Allah, when Allah is addressing them, He told them not only believe in Allah, but also in His prophets, and He called him by his title. Now he's coming. He should please be quiet, please, for Allah's sake. He called him. He referred to him by his title. Because he knows they're not going to see Allah anyway. Who they're going to be seeing? The prophets. And it's very easy for them to get complacent because they sleep in bed together. They were just home, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's no big deal. No, it's a big deal. You've got to be able, you have to be able to switch. To know when is your husband and when is the Prophet of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Oh, Sindozi. Anything control Miami.
Anything control Miami.
Alone. And that is why when you want to do tawbiyah, forget the Bisriyani, you know. No. They will give you kullahu malik al-mulk. As a matter of fact, one of the tarbiyah that we do is they make us do sa'i. During Umrah, they make us do sa'i, right? And we'll read Daratul Mutalib up until Ya Maliku. Yeah, and we'll repeat Ya Maliku several times, right? For us to have ma'rifah. And we do it only when we're doing sa'i. We do Safa and Marwa. So what's the tarbiyah there? And they say, what dinani? And you don't do it, you know, we don't do like, you know, the one we ask you guys to do 500 Salat al-Fajr after Fajr. No. This one you do when you go for Umrah, you do it only during Sa'i. For you to have Ma'rifah. And that will allow you to understand Allah. So you don't argue with Allah when it's operating. You can always tell if Allah is operating through someone, whether the person is Muslim or not. You can tell if it's Allah that's operating through that person. If you have Ma'rifah. And you can't have Ma'rifah without Tarbiyah. You can't have Tarbiyah without understanding the Quran. That is why the likes of Imam Junaid will say, in the tariqatana hadhihi mushayyadatun bil kitabi wa sunnati, that you won't understand this path of ours unless you understand the Quran very well and the Sunnah of the Prophet. Because without understanding those two, your tarbiyah will not be strong and your ma'rifah will be equal to zero. Would you say because you come to the masjid and you pray that Allah should grant you a job and He grants you a job, at a place and you go to your job and you find that your boss is John, who's not Muslim, and you're not going to respect him? You're not going to seek his permission before you go pray? Because he's Christian? Oh, dollar money. You don't join your life, but the person has to join your life. Oh, Lord, say because, oh, John, oh, Lord, John, I don't need a John. John, let the guy get a Barcelona. You hear what you mean too? Only alone beside red light here at the green light. But why they be alone? But not bad. I was in my bar. Oh, you hear what you mean too? When he likes, it kills. When he lies, it gives lives. Some people will run the red light successfully, and some will run it and they will die. Clear alopa. Ojano ina kolojo Ọlọ́run ló já. That was why my engineer. Baba wa jino judo re fe de ke feri mi e ngba wa pe yan jana lo fi ku se ama jana ku Ọlọ́run ni ma pa yan. Oh, ada ko lo wo bi re si. Wa man yaknut min kunna lillahi wa rasulihi. And whoever yaknut min kunna lillahi wa rasulihi, whoever believes in Allah among you and he believes in his prophet.
وتعمل صالحا نؤتيها
Because of his respect because of our respect for the prophet, is able to do good deeds.
نؤتيها أجرها مرتين. أيادكم الله.
نؤتيها أجرها مرتين. Just like we're going to double her punishment if she's responsible for any evil, Allah wants to show you justice. If she does any act of goodness as well, we are going to grant her a reward twice. So
Ayadakumullah.
ó lágbára kọ́ ní pé ẹyọ kan lòun fún ó wá gbèsè ti bọ́lá òun lè mọ ọ nísìn ó ní tí wọ́n bá ṣe ìwé jẹ wọ́n yọ lẹ́ẹ̀mejì àwọn tí wọ́n ṣe dáadáa wọ́n kàn gbèsè ẹyọ kan ọlọ́run kì í sí bẹ́ẹ̀.
Ayadakumullah.
bóbìnrin bá kírun yóò gbẹ̀sìn rẹ́sì ọ̀dọ́kùnrin gbà náà ni ó gbà. As a matter of fact, women have more opportunity to earn more reward than men. Because you're going to have to tell me, man, why you not praying? In your menstrual period? But women, even in the menstrual period, they can still do azkar. And they'll have equal reward as a man who's not going through menstrual period and doing this azkar. ومن يعمل وتعمل صالحا
نؤتيها أجرها مرتين.
And if any one of you, talking to the wives of the prophet, if any one of you also does any acts of kindness, we're going to give that person 2 rewards. We're going to give her a reward twice, not 2 rewards, twice. But there's a difference between 2 reward and twice. If we say 2 reward, it might just be 2 as in units, but twice could mean if Allah would reward this person with 1,000 units, she will get 2,000 units.
Ayadakumullah.
Oh, Sintozi.
وأعتدنا لها رزقا كريما.
أعتدنا لها رزقا كريما. كنت أقول أعتد لها رزقا كريما وأعتدنا لها رزقا كريما. كيف تعني شيء؟ Why won't you be like that? Oh, yeah, wife of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. For anyone to qualify to become the wife of the Prophet, that one itself is a risk. And that says, for we have actually, does not mean, and we are going to provide for her a honorable sustenance. No, Allah said, we have provided for you honorable provision anyway by even making you the wife of the prophets. And it's your for
ẹni tí wọ́n máa fẹ́ láàrẹ̀ tọrọ ní bẹ́lẹ̀ tí yóò.
The Prophet ﷺ came in one day and he met one of his wives. I think it was Salama. And he asked, Ya Salama, why are you still, what's going on? And she said, I'm doing my azkar. And Prophet ﷺ said, well, since we both finished praying in the morning, I said some words that if only you would say them, these words, if only you would say them, they're worth more than heaven and earth and whatever is in between them. He was saying this to his wife, Salma, and she said, what is it? Say, Subhanallah wa bihamdi, Subhanallah al-azim. He was giving this to who? To his wife. Allah takalofu.
Ayadakumullahu bi yasiri.
Pingule domoko.
Aki pingule domoko. To ba letosi o letosi no.
Allah says that we had provided for that person a very honorable provision, even by making her the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Ìyàwó àfà.
Ìyàwó gambise.
Ìyàwó gambise.
Kódà kó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ló ń fún lóúnjẹ.
Kódà kó jẹ́ pé wọ́n gan ló ń fún lóúnjẹ.
Khadija, it was through her money. Her money was the first machine, the first money that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to promote Islam. Oh, animal compare as a salata. Njoja ama berele afa ti sakile o to ma kan bo wa fowo gba ni. Àdúgbò pé kan tó gbà. Njo tí wala bá wa dé. Njo tí wala bá dé. O ní disrespect ẹ náà. Ó gbà fọ́lọ́run bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni. وَأَعْتَدْنَا لَهَا رِزْقًا كَرِيمًا. Allah say injo tí wọ́n bí ọwọ́ nìkan ni wọ́n bí rẹ̀ tó pọ̀. As why you wala nika ama. Listen, Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala anha, Kulthum, and all the wives of the Prophet, history, they would have just paled into total insignificance if they had not married the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wouldn't have known them. There's several Aisha all around, several Salam all around, but they're mentioned in the books of history because they were married to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So anything that has a benefit has the other way, the other one as well. So if you are comfortable with the benefit, when the other side comes, of course you got to be comfortable with it as well. Àwọn nu ọgbẹ́ ìyàwó ànábì ẹni ọkọ̀ bá sọ̀rọ̀ náà torí tó bá ti rẹ́yìn tẹ́ ṣe dáadáa ó easy fáwọn ará ta náà láti ṣe dáadáa. Àwọn tó pẹ́ ilẹ̀ yìí ṣe dáadáa ó ń kírun ní mọ́ṣáláṣí ìyàwó mọ́mù lé wọn ta tó ń rojọ́. Gbogbo náà wá ní gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀sì òun ní ọkọ̀ dàrú ebọ́kọ̀ òun ní ìmáàmù. Ọkọ̀ òun ní ìmáàmù. Ṣé ìwọ ìyàwó ní ìmáàmù ní máa múra lẹ́sìn jù ní àbọ̀ ní máa dẹ̀sìn rú? Bó ṣe abáyàwó ìmáàmù wí náà ló bá torí nígbẹ̀yìn ó gbọ́dọ̀ pé ahalu ìní pé àwọn ará ilé his family whoever is associated with him and can be linked to him, the same thing applies to them. Have you okay there?
Ya nisaa an-nabiyyi lastunna ka ahadin min an-nisaa.
And the scholars they say here, unlike the other women that we read about them in Surah Al-Mumtahana, when they came to give bayah, which was covenants, in their own case they were actually going through all those issues, and he asked them to drop them before their bayah. But for the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, ashartu una la yaqtadi al-wuqu'a. هذه قاعدة شرعية متأدبا يعني قصدنا بذلك تأدبا لأزواج الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. الشرط هنا لا يقتضي الوقوع. The fact that he wants them here does not mean they were involved in it. Remember when we're talking about the covenants of the other women, we said they were involved in all those things. But the wives of the Prophet is warning them not because they're involved in it. So الشرط هنا لا يقتضي الوقوع. Kí ó pọ̀ báyìí. Máa nìṣó bá débi wákàá dà.
Ya nisaa an-nabiyyi lastunna ka ahadin min an-nisaa in ittaqaytunna fala taqda'na bil qawli. And
do not forget what we're trading is still the issue of the esteemed status and of course their voice as well. And in this other verse, Allah Subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "O ye wives of the prophets,
lastunna ka ahadin min an-nisaa."
Just in case you're wondering, why is it that you're going to get punished twice? Well, why is it that we're going to double your punishment? When he's talking about their punishment, he says he's going to double their punishment. But when he's talking about their reward, he says he's going to do what? Reward them twice. These are two different things. And you may be wondering why, and Allah further breaks it down. Ya nisa an-nabi, O ye wives of the Prophet, lastunna ka ahadin min an-nisa. That is the meaning of the wa'atadna lahum rizqan karima. You cannot be compared to any other woman. هذا هو معنى وأعتدنا لها رزقا كريما. We are personally, Allah had personally selected them for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if Allah breaks it down, you cannot be compared to any other woman. You should not see yourself as any other woman. Who was Allah giving this message to? In Bajo, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the message was for his wives. You are going to be the prophet in your house. You'll be reading the message to your wife. When you read the message to your wife, you've got to let her realize also that you are not like any other woman. Allah is teaching romance here. Alright? You're not just going to tell your wife, hey, Allah ta'ala lala. Be the same. There's one for la bere ara euro. Allah ta'ala lala. Say ni kill me. Oh, you feel special. Allah don't feel special. He says, you are not like any other woman. You're special. Your place is a different place. So when you read this to your wife, you got to let her know that she's special as well. Make her feel good. Let her understand that what you're asking her to do is not because you want to reduce her status or strip her of her humanity. Alright? It's because she is special. She's not like any other woman. And we're telling the Muslim women, if Allah would say, oh, do not go all around shaking men and stuff, wear hijab and stuff, it's not because it wants to strip you of your humanity. It's because you are not like any other woman. You have a special place with Allah. And Allah says that to the wives of His Prophet on the tongue of their husband. How do you think that makes them feel? هذا أسلوب من أساليب الدعوة. It's one of the methodologies by which you call people onto the path of Allah. You've got to make them feel special. It's not easy for someone to be coming from work on a Monday and you tell them to come and listen to tafsir. No, you've got to make them feel special. Tell them they're students of Tijaniya. Sheikh Ibrahim loves them. Allah loves them. They have a special plan of resurrection. You know what I'm saying? But then the same thing you want to tell the kids to fast. You don't compel them. Why do you think we always promise them $1 per day? They want to be rich. You've got to show them the greens in everything. You tell your child you have to fast. Why? The prophet said we should fast. What is he going to say? Who is the prophet? What are you going to say? Prophet Muhammad. Say which one? You mean Uncle Muhammad? No. Shall I even go back? Don't you love him? Do you even go back? So what do you want? PlayStation 5. Because you're special. لست أنت كهذا من الأولاد. لست أنت كهذا من البنات. You're special. You're a different being. So I want you to fast so we can feel good together. You can help daddy. I want us to compete and I'll give you money. But
aṣọ mẹ́ta làwọn máa ń dáná àwẹ̀.
Ó wá sẹ́yìn wọn ní kọ́ mo gbà ẹ̀ àwọn yìí ti ẹ̀ gbà ẹ̀ ẹ̀rọ mi náà ràn mọ́ lọ́mọ mọ́ṣáláṣí yóò rí pé àwọn yìí jọ̀sán irú àwọn ọmọ olílé ó bá wọn délé wọn ni. àbúrò pé easy ká máa jẹ gbèsè àwọn ọmọ kan mo sọ fúlàní pé ó tún gbà ẹ̀ lẹ́yìn ó ń gbà ẹ̀ pé náà ló ti gbà ó wá sọ ètò bọ̀ èmi náà kó gbà tó bá wọn ìbámu ti promise $1 every. يا نساء النبي
إني تقيتن فلا تخضعن بالقول.
Now we go back to where we started from on Friday. It says, if it is true that you are conscious of Allah Azza wa Jalla, فلا تخضعن بالقول, and do not create lust with your voices. We go back to voice. The voice is not haram, but it gives a condition. When you are talking as a wife of the Prophet, or as a wife of a Muslim man, or as Muslim women, as the case may be, do not be lustful with your voice. Ẹlòmíì ò ní àti ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ lẹ́mọ̀ náà àwọn mọ́ṣáláṣí nílùú iná ni bó bá débẹ̀ ní sin tẹ́ ń ṣe nǹkan obìnrin yóò gbé ó sàdẹ̀kọ́ mọ̀ pé òun wà ń bẹ̀. Oní àgbégbá kò sí lóhùn náà láàrin gbogbo àwọn ọkùnrin oní ògbégbá kò lójútì ó wá bẹ́ẹ̀ lómi ìṣe tó fi dàgbà bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀yìn ọmọ wa gbọ́dọ̀ bá wọn lárúgbó ni ṣé kó bá wọn sáré bẹ́ẹ̀
ṣé kó bá wọn sáré bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìwà burúkú.
La taqdana bil qawl. In a public place, a woman, not because her voice is haram, but because she is special. She's not like any other woman. And part of your dignity is your ability to be able to comport yourself in a public place. Even when someone wrongs you in a public place, you do not start to display ignorance in the masjid as a Muslim woman. I'm a paroma, I must ask Nimazaziva. Caliber was a kid, the caliber for company. And you expect others to respect you. How's it going to happen? But you're the one, you don't talk back, you just let it slide. You can take care of that later on. لا تخدعن بالقول. Do not cause trouble with your voices. In this case, do not be lustful with your voices.
فيطمع الذي في قلبه مرض.
Do not forget when we're in Surah An-Nur. It says فيطمع الذي في قلبه مرض. When you create lust with your voices, and that who has a diseased heart will not be longing towards you.
أيدكم الله بنصره.
التعليل هنا إلا تعظيم لها هو ألا يطمع الذي في قلبه مرض. You do not create women 1001% have the absolute power to control zina. Men were weak. Oh, let me but I hear it budget. Korifa.
أيدكم الله بنصره.
wọ́n ti wá mọ̀ pé alájà kìíní nù ibẹ̀ ló ti mọ̀ pariwo bọ̀ wá kò wá lójú tì wọ́n ti àti àrùbá àwọn ará oko ni wọ́n máa ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àti ẹ̀jẹ̀ ìsàrò oko náà máa ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Allah gives reasons here why some scholars believe that they cannot even talk outside of their homes, which of course in our own case is extreme. Of course they can talk, but the point is la kí ló pé àfa yìí. فلا تخدعن بالقول. And when you speak, do not be lustful in your words.
يطمع الذي في قلبه مرض.
And when you're lustful in your words, and that will be responsible for that one with the diseased heart to now start longing.
وقل قولا معروفا.
Listen. وقلنا if you must speak. وقلنا if you were to talk. وقلنا قولا معروفا. وقلنا
قولا معروفا.
Even if you would talk. قلنا قولا معروفا. Speak with dignity. Speak with decency. Let your voice represent who you are, not who you're not. Allah is telling them here that around you are men who have sick mind. And do not be responsible for the reason why they will exhibit that sickness. Just to further prove that women can talk, there was a woman. This woman, her name was Sauda. She came to Muhammad. When Muhammad came back from one of the battles, and she said, إني كنت نذرت إن ردك الله صالحا وفي رواية سالما أن أضرب عندك بالدف وأتغنى. And that is why our student of knowledge, when we're doing our own tafsir, we don't just brush it over. Hey, Bismillah, no, I'm a kioni. Okay, Allah say, Allah le kioni. Oh, I did the kill and go on for 30 minutes. Let's go. This woman came to Muhammad. He just returned from one of the battles. He just returned rather from one of the battles, and she said, I had vowed, not promise. I had vowed that if Allah would bring you back safely, if Allah would bring you back in good health, I had vowed that I will beat the drum and I'm gonna sing. That she vowed that she was gonna do it. Beat the drum and do what? And sing. وقال رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم إن كنت فعلتي, if indeed بمعنى إن كنت نذرتي, if indeed you had vowed, ففعلي, then go ahead and do it. وإن كنت لم تفعلي, but if you had not vowed, if not made a vow, فَلَا تَفْعَلِي, then you don't have to. فَضَرَبَتْ, and she did, because she had vowed. So that was why some scholars believe that the only time they can talk outside is if it was based on what? Vow. But that's not true, because the Quran says, do not be lustful in your words, and if you must speak, you should speak what? With dignity. Àwọn afáwa discuss yẹ gan ní tíra yìí ọ̀tọ̀ wá tún náà tún discuss débi tọ̀ ṣé a lè lùlù fún ẹ̀ àfáà yìí kí ọjọ́ mi tún nìyẹn. àmọ́ obìnrin ni onítànà bíi bá dé látọjú ogun tọ́lá ń bá lè dá padà dáadáa kì í ṣe ìyàwó ẹ̀ o àwọn ọmọ kí o rẹ̀ ni torí gbogbo sábẹ́ obìnrin ọmọ kí ànábì ni gbogbo sábẹ́ ọkùnrin ọmọ kí ànábì ni wọn tọ́lá ń bá lè dá padà dáadáa o òun ti lóun ó jó òun ó sì lùlù ànábì wa ní ṣe òwú bẹ́ẹ̀ ó ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo wí bẹ́ẹ̀ ó dà táàkì òwú bẹ́ẹ̀ ń tòótọ́ lọ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ àmọ́ táàkì ògbèrò bẹ́ẹ̀ mo wò lè ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ olóhùn wa lọ síbi ọ̀rọ̀ anazuru vow kí ni ìdájọ́ lórí pé ká máa promise tí wọ́n ti yẹn jú pé àwọn àfáà tí wọ́n ní pé torí pé vow ni tóbi ní bá vow yóò sọ̀rọ̀ àmọ́ kúrò ní òwúrẹ̀ ó lè sọ̀rọ̀ kò kàn ní máa déwò sọkùnrin ọlọ́kùnrin ni obìnrin tó wá ní pé tó ń bá lùlù yìí òwò lùlù òwò tó wá kọrin tó ń bá kọrin ó tún wá sọ bí ó ṣe kọ́ ó ní àtàgánná ń dùn òun sí. ayédèkúnmí wọ. ṣé tàgánná yẹn wá àlìyá ni tàgánná àlùkùdúà. ayédèkúnmí wọ orí lẹ́sìn. ọ̀gbọ́n ọ̀ sí ń dùn sí. ayédèkúnmí wọ. èyí lẹ́sìn ni wọ́n mọ̀ dùn òun.
èyí lẹ́sìn ni wọ́n mọ̀ dùn òun.
eléyìí ló ń wo dùn.
ó ti sọ fún wọn dùn wọn tún gbogbo tún kọrin.
kí àǹfààní orin tí wọn náà fẹ́ kọ́ tó wà ní dùn sẹ́yìn tó rà nínú. àmọ́ even àníyàn tó wà lábẹ́ tó fẹ́ sìn yandarij tahta qawlin ma'rufin. Is it part of her speaking what? Honorably. And in this case, she even want to talk in front of someone to whom her voice is not haram. Your voice is not haram to your teacher. Your voice is not haram to your sheikh, unless that sheikh has a disease in his heart. And that is what they condemn some of our mashayikh for. That, you know, when they come to Zawiyah, the women will be singing for them. And the sheikh will stand in front, and the women, of course, not lustily, but, you know, they'll be doing askar and stuff, and some say that's not right. Well, we say it's right. It's right based on fact. مَا كَانَ الْقَوْلُ قَوْلًا هِي مَعْرُوفًا. àmọ́ bàbá wa túlẹ̀ àbáwá ibi bàbá wa túlẹ̀ pé tí o bá ti dé láti Kaola àbí owó bí wọ́n travel lọ ni ẹ lọ lè gbàdúrà kẹ́ máa kọrin àbáwá yìí láì ń tẹ̀ sanwó rẹ̀ rà o àrùn tí ń bẹ lẹ́mìí ẹlòmíì ni ó fi hàn kí ẹ bóyin tọ́lọ́ ló fẹ́ kọ́. àrùn yẹn náà ni ló fi jẹ́ pé náà là ń gbọ́ ilé làwọn fẹ́ kókó ń bẹ́.
làwọn fẹ́ kókó àrùn tó wà nù ọkọ̀ oníkálukú wa.
wọ́n lè la bá aláwùjọ àwọn Sufi àwọn tí wọ́n láwọn ń ṣe àzíkiri. láyínláńlá ẹ̀wọ̀n kékeré gbogbo náà ní sè kò má kọ́ náà. òun náà ni àkìsìkò oró tó kò ní kírun bí ìjà bò ṣe ń bọ́ lọ́rùn ní bísí kí ní ojú rẹ̀ fẹ́ tó báyìí kí wọ́n lójú ni ó fẹ́ gbìn tó ìwé ẹ̀sìn. sẹ́yìn ò tí bá kọ́ọ̀lù màrúfù jẹ́ ní ọ̀rẹ́ àtàyà rẹ̀ tí wọ́n fò sókè ó sì wọ́n sàṣìkiri yóò àmọ́ ìfúnra àdìsí jẹ́rì ike àwọn kọrin fáwọn ẹbí náà ṣé bó ṣe kọ́ nìyí. ẹ lọ́hùn sàṣìkiri olóhùn wọn ní gbogbo ńtọ́ ń pè yín náà ló mọ̀ yìí mọ́tò tó wí náà ò mọ́ àmọ́ nígbà míì الضرورات تبيح المعذورات قاعدة كلمة الضرورات تبيح المعذورات ó níbi tá a lè dárò ẹjọ́ yẹn Nàìjíríà kọ́ ni wọ́n máa ti dárò ẹ̀ ọ̀gbọ́ ẹ tó tiẹ̀ mọ́ ikọ̀ gan-an kò rẹ́ni pé bó sì rẹ́ni pé òun ò rówó náà fún un ó wá lóun tiẹ̀ fẹ́ kọ́ nítorí Islam ní ká má kọrin ó bá lọ léèwé ó jáde kò ríṣẹ́ ó sì lóhùn ṣé kò ní kọrin. àfi tó wà lọ́kọ́ gbogbo ẹni tó lọ́n fún lóhùn láyé àfikún ẹni fi ká Kùránì nìkan irọ́ ni skill ni kọ́nà kó fún yàn lóhùn inú tó mọ̀ ìlú ìlà àwọn anita bẹ́ẹ̀ka kọrin àwọn kí ni wọ́n ń gbé àwọn mọ̀jẹ̀ pé with music orin ti ẹ̀yẹ kì í ti kọ́ọ̀lù màrúfù. ayédèkúnmọ́ bí náà ti ẹ̀ ti kọ́ọ̀lù màrúfù. ìyá wa sọ kọrin kọ́ọ̀lù màrúf kó mu drug yìí. ẹ gíra pé sèlindé ọsẹ kọ́ọ̀lù màrúf tó lóun ti ẹni bọ́ra rẹ̀ ń bọ̀ kúbọ̀ onìkan ló dájú rẹ̀ tí ó mọ fa nǹkan rẹ̀ obìnrin lè kọrin orin obìnrin lè kéwì ó lè kọrin àmọ́ kí n sọ̀rọ̀ tó kọ́ débi pé tí wọ́n gbọ́ mọ̀ pé o ti yẹ̀yẹ́ ara rẹ̀ ìdí nìkan náà ni èèyàn bíi mẹ́fà ló ti bíi mẹ́wàá ló ti gba nọ́mbà rẹ̀ fayatma alladhi fi qalbihi maradun àwọn ọkùnrin tí wọ́n wà ń bẹ́ tó yẹ pé àsìkiri tó ń ṣe ilé ẹ̀kọ́ máa gbọ́ kọ́ máa gbọ́ pé sallallahu alaihi wasallam wọn àwa ní wíyì mọ́ àyà àwọn àzákìrà ni wọ́n wò àwọn àzákìrà ṣẹ̀wọ̀n barama ni yasi mo ní kí ni gbogbo eléyìí ní sítórí ànábì kódà ẹni tí ò kéwòn gẹ́gẹ́ pé kí ni yóò bá mu ṣẹ̀wọ̀n barama ni yasi àbí ṣẹ́kọ̀ wá tó ìwà náà ọmọ fún ọkẹ fún lọ́lẹ̀ gbogbo nǹkan náà oṣù kó sáré náà ló kó dáadáa yìí àwọn sẹ́wọ̀n náà yọ àmì ọ̀nà ọba tún lè yóò ló ń fọlẹ̀ lọ náwó fún máa gbọ́ ìsà àsìkiri sẹ́wọ̀n náà fẹ́ náwó fún níbi àyà ẹ̀ náà ni wọ́n fowó sí àyà obìnrin lóbìnrin náà ló ń fowó sí. ẹ jọ let me ask you this question. Must we be Muslim to know that that is unethical? Must we be Muslim to know that that is not right? So when Islam now, what Islam has done is this, to establish obvious laws on obvious issues. If any other person will not address it, Allah will not do without addressing them. Must you be a sheikh, must you be a mu'min to know that that is wrong? And want to justify, well, because they're using the talent anyway, and there's no job, and therefore they can do it. We're not saying they cannot, but we're saying there are ways they can do it that will show that they're still dignified. If you're using your skill to earn money, it is dignified, it's honorable. Won't you rather do that than go and walk the pole? But what is the difference between you and someone that is walking the pole when you come out to do adhkar and you dress as if you're going to a strip club? And you get there making all these promiscuous moves all in the name of doing adhkar. Baba saw only one. Àwọn ìṣe mutashaddidu Sufi làwa àmọ́ Sufi wa Sufiyun arifun bi sunnatillahi wa rasulihi. Sufi tiwa à ń ṣe lórí sunna dání o Ọlọ́run àtànábì rẹ̀ máa ní ṣé Ibrahim ò lè ìjọ wo ni wọ́n dé káwọ́lá àwọn obìnrin wà ń kálà tí wọ́n máa dá sí kiri ṣé wọ́n mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn náà ti yí àyàkuyà nísìnyí o oníkálukú wọn ti bóra tán nísìnyí àmọ́ gbà tá àwọn ṣé obìnrin ò tẹ̀ ń dá sí kiri nígbà tí wọ́n ná àmọ́ lẹ́yìn wọn àwọn obìnrin dá sí kiri yóò ṣe ọjọ́ kó àwọn ẹgbẹ́ rẹ̀ ó jókòó tí wọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ̀ ókó náà bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wọ́n wọṣọ kínní wọ́n jókòó wọ́n dára mọ́ kọrin wọn wọ́n máa ṣe kínní kò ní sí wàhálà. ṣé yóò àwọn aṣáṣe lọ mọ́lídì ní káwọ́lá ní sì kèé sí àná àbẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ èmi wàá dé káwọ́lá rí ká ṣe mọ́lídì kí wọ́n á pe àwọn obìnrin síta ibi tá a dùn ṣe mọ́lídì kí wọ́n á lé ẹ̀ mọ́ ṣe láńgá ìmọ̀ gbọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ní láńgá gàgàgà yìí àwọn ò rí o ìyẹn wàá lè Sufi kó Sufi tó ṣe Ibrahima ó lè Sufi tó ṣe Ibrahima gbogbo Sufi rẹ̀ tó bá su ó lè Sufi tó ṣe Tijani àwọn tó wá fi lé wa lọ́wọ́ nìyẹn kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ tiwọn. Izan alqaid huwa alla yaqulna illa qawlan ma'rufan. What guide the voice is not that they cannot speak outside or sing, but if they must do it, it's got to be done honorably, not with the intention of being lustful, with dignity. As I get a gama, we don't know who another. Again, you can look at the people who are butter as I get. So, I mean, you can't even like put around maybe. You won't be one that day.
Sakira ti bóra tán.
Gbogbo ó ti bó gbogbo ẹ̀tẹ́. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ ló kú tó tá bẹ̀rí. Even Islam permits women to speak, but they must speak honorably, both at home and even outside of the home. You know, you're there with your husband. You know, you do whatever you want to do. In this verse that we've read, Allah establishes the fact that they must respect the honor of the husband, and the husband also must respect them as well. Should be able to show care and romance to them and let them know that they're special. And I want men to say to your wife that you're special. Say you're special. And let me know, my boy, my flower for bringing on my canyon. And when I flower for bringing, let me fire. And when I flower for bringing, I'm only getting food to go down. I mean, the America this year 20 years. Could be our last movie. You are a bit of John Islam, Charlie celebrates Valentine. I 40 hours. It's your Valentine will celebrate. I said, oh, no, Valentine. That was Oji Njoka, oh, respect Yahweh, oh, honor Yahweh, but by one Bakakiri. Why is everybody celebrating? Kilo cannot be new. I say, what I say, and you're talking about celebrating. But you're very good of flower. There are no dear Matakamata phone. Another cool Adonia Kalibashino Subhanallah wa bihamdihi Subhanallah كلمتان خفيفتان على اللسان ثقيلتان في الميزان حبيبتان إلى الرحمن سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون